Good evening, my weary academics, and welcome to History to Sleep By, where we nerd out and conk out. If you enjoy calm, narrated history documentaries, or just need a reliable friend to help with restless nights, please subscribe, leave a like, and maybe share a comment about what's happening in your life. That way, you'll always find your way back to us. Now, let's begin tonight's journey. As the winter of 1783 lingered over the Continental Army's cantonment near Newburgh, New York, a quiet tension filled the air. The war for independence was drawing to a close, yet the peace that should have brought relief instead brought a new kind of uncertainty. The soldiers, who had endured years of hardship, found themselves grappling with promises unfulfilled. Arrears of pay had accumulated, and the assurances of half-pay pensions for officers seemed to fade into the distance. The financial constraints of the fledgling Continental Congress were severe, and its ability to meet these commitments was in doubt. The officers, weary from years of service, began to murmur among themselves. Discontent simmered as they contemplated a future without the security they had been promised. It was within this atmosphere of growing frustration that anonymous addresses began to circulate among the ranks. These writings, commonly attributed to Major John Armstrong, Jr., called for a meeting and urged the officers to adopt a firmer stance toward Congress. The words were bold, suggesting actions that could challenge the very fabric of the new nation's principles. General George Washington, the steadfast leader of the Continental Army, was keenly aware of the delicate situation. He understood the potential for chaos if the discontent were allowed to fester unchecked. In response to the unauthorized meeting proposed by the anonymous addresses, Washington issued general orders canceling it. Instead, he called for an official assembly of officers to be held on March 15, 1783, at the Temple Meeting Hall. His intention was clear: to address the concerns directly and to steer the officers away from a path that could lead to mutiny. The day of the meeting arrived, and the temple was filled with officers, their faces a mix of anticipation and apprehension. Washington entered the room, his presence commanding respect and attention. He began with prepared remarks, speaking to the sacrifices made and the virtues of patience and loyalty. His words were measured, yet they carried the weight of his commitment to the cause and to his men. Then, in a moment that would become etched in history, Washington paused. He reached into his pocket and retrieved a pair of spectacles. As he placed them on his nose, he remarked softly, "I have grown gray in your service and now find myself growing blind." The simple gesture, coupled with his words, had a profound effect. The officers, many of whom had shared the trials of war with him, were moved by this personal acknowledgement of their shared journey. The atmosphere in the room shifted. The officers, stirred by Washington's sincerity and humility, found their resolve. They passed resolutions condemning the anonymous addresses, affirming their commitment to civilian authority, and pledging their continued patience and loyalty. The specter of rebellion was dispelled, and a path forward was illuminated. In the aftermath of the meeting, a committee was formed to convey the Army's grievances to Congress. The message was clear, yet respectful, reflecting the officers' renewed dedication to the principles for which they had fought. Just days later, Congress took decisive action. They commuted the promised half pay to 5 years full pay, a compromise that acknowledged the Army's sacrifices while addressing the financial realities of the young nation. Discipline was restored, and the crisis that had threatened to unravel the fabric of the Army was averted. The officers returned to their duties, their trust in Washington, and the cause reaffirmed. The events at Newburgh became a testament to the power of leadership grounded in integrity and empathy. As winter gave way to spring, the Army stood united, ready to embrace the peace they had so earnestly sought. And so, dear listeners, as you drift into slumber, let the story of the Newburgh Conspiracy remind you of the strength found in unity and the enduring power of calm, steady leadership. May your dreams be filled with the quiet resolve of those who have walked before us, paving the way for the peace we cherish today. Sleep well, and until next time, good night. As the gentle warmth of spring began to unfurl across the landscape, the world seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. The American Revolution, with its trials and triumphs, was drawing to a close. The Treaty of Paris, signed in September 1783, formally ended the conflict. It was a momentous occasion, marking the birth of a new nation, free from the shackles of colonial rule. The echoes of battles fought and sacrifices made lingered in the hearts of those who had endured the long struggle for independence. Yet with peace came the daunting task of building a nation from the ground up. The Continental Army, once the backbone of the Revolution, now faced the uncertainty of disbandment. Soldiers who had fought bravely for their country's freedom were eager to return to their homes and families. However, the transition from war to peace was fraught with challenges. Many soldiers had not received the pay promised to them, and their futures seemed uncertain. The fledgling government, burdened with debt and lacking a stable financial system, struggled to fulfill its obligations. Despite these difficulties, there was a sense of hope and determination to forge a new path. George Washington, the steadfast leader who had guided the army through the darkest days, now faced the task of saying farewell to his troops. In November 1783, he delivered an emotional farewell address to his officers at Fraunces Tavern in New York City. His words, filled with gratitude and humility, resonated deeply with those who had served under his command. Washington's departure from the army marked the end of an era, yet it also symbolized the beginning of a new chapter in American history. As the soldiers returned to civilian life, the nation turned its attention to the monumental task of governance. The Articles of Confederation, the initial framework for the new government, had proven inadequate in addressing the needs of a growing nation. The lack of a strong central authority and the inability to levy taxes left the government struggling to maintain order and stability. It became increasingly clear that a new constitution was needed to unite the states and provide a solid foundation for the future. In the summer of 1787, delegates from 12 of the 13 states gathered in Philadelphia to draft a new constitution. The Constitutional Convention, as it came to be known, was a gathering of some of the most brilliant minds of the time. Among them were James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, and Benjamin Franklin, each bringing their unique perspectives and ideas to the table. The debates were intense and often contentious as delegates grappled with issues of representation, federalism, and the balance of power. After months of deliberation, the delegates emerged with a document that would become the cornerstone of American democracy. The United States Constitution, with its carefully crafted system of checks and balances, sought to ensure that no single branch of government could dominate the others. It was a bold experiment in governance, one that reflected the ideals of liberty and justice for which the Revolution had been fought. The ratification of the Constitution was not without its challenges. Fierce debates erupted across the states, as Federalists and Anti-Federalists clashed over the merits of the new framework. The Federalist Papers, a series of essays penned by Hamilton, Madison, and John Jay, sought to persuade the public of the Constitution's virtues. Ultimately, the promise of a Bill of Rights guaranteeing individual liberties helped to secure the necessary support for ratification. With the Constitution in place, the young nation embarked on its journey toward unity and prosperity. George Washington, once again called upon to serve his country, became the first president of the United States in 1789. His leadership during the formative years of the Republic set a precedent for future generations, embodying the principles of integrity and service that had guided him throughout his life. As the nation grew, so too did its challenges. The early years of the Republic were marked by tensions, both domestic and foreign. Yet, the resilience and determination of its people, coupled with the guiding framework of the Constitution, enabled the United States to navigate these turbulent waters. The spirit of innovation and progress, born out of the struggle for independence, continued to drive the nation forward. In the quiet moments of reflection, as the sun set on the horizon, one could sense the profound journey that had brought the nation to this point. From the embattled fields of revolution to the halls of governance, the story of America's founding was one of courage, vision, and unwavering resolve. As you close your eyes and drift into the realm of dreams, let the legacy of those who came before inspire you. May their courage and wisdom illuminate your path, guiding you toward a brighter tomorrow. Sleep peacefully, and until we meet again, good night. In the gentle embrace of twilight, the echoes of history softly whisper tales of a young nation finding its footing. The United States, having emerged from the crucible of revolution, stood poised on the brink of a new era. The ink on the Constitution was barely dry, yet its words carried the weight of a nation's hopes and dreams. The framers, with their quills and parchment, had crafted a document that would endure the test of time. It was a living testament to their foresight, a beacon of democracy that promised liberty and justice for all. As the nation began to grow, so too did its challenges. The vast expanse of the American landscape beckoned with promise and peril alike. From the rolling hills of the east to the untamed wilderness of the west, the land was rich with opportunity. Settlers moved westward, driven by the allure of new beginnings and the promise of prosperity. Each step they took was a testament to the enduring spirit of exploration that had defined the American character. In the cities, the hum of industry began to rise. Factories sprouted like new shoots in spring, their chimneys reaching toward the sky. The Industrial Revolution had arrived, bringing with it a wave of change that would sweep across the nation. Machines clattered and whirred, transforming raw materials into goods that would fuel the economy. The rhythm of progress was relentless, a steady march toward a future that gleamed with potential. Amidst this backdrop of growth and change, the nation grappled with its conscience. The question of slavery loomed large, casting a long shadow over the land. It was a moral quandary that tested the very fabric of the Union. Debates raged in Congress, voices rising in impassioned argument. The nation was divided, yet the spirit of compromise sought to bridge the chasm. Laws were passed, amendments proposed, each an attempt to reconcile the irreconcilable. Through it all, the American people persevered. They were a tapestry of diverse cultures and backgrounds, woven together by the shared experience of nationhood. Immigrants arrived in waves, bringing with them the richness of their traditions and the strength of their dreams. They settled in bustling cities and quiet towns, each contributing to the vibrant mosaic of American life. The streets echoed with a symphony of languages, a testament to the nation's promise as a land of opportunity. In the quiet moments, as the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, one could reflect on the journey thus far. The road had been long and fraught with challenges, yet the spirit of resilience shone brightly. The Founding Fathers had laid the foundation, but it was the people who built upon it, brick by brick, dream by dream. Their stories were woven into the very fabric of the nation, a testament to the enduring power of hope and determination. As you drift into slumber, let the gentle cadence of history lull you into a peaceful rest. The journey of a nation is a tapestry of countless stories, each thread a testament to the courage and vision of those who came before. May their legacy inspire you, guiding you toward your own dreams with the same unwavering resolve. Sleep deeply, and when you awaken, may the promise of a new day fill you with hope and possibility. Good night. In the quiet aftermath of the revolution, the fledgling nation stood at the brink of an uncertain future. The echoes of war had faded, leaving behind a landscape ripe with potential yet shadowed by the weight of expectation. Fields once trodden by soldiers now awaited the gentle touch of farmers, eager to sow seeds of prosperity. Towns that had witnessed the tumult of battle began to hum with the sounds of rebuilding, as carpenters and masons set to work, their hands crafting the physical embodiment of newfound freedom. The air was thick with the scent of fresh timber and the promise of growth. In bustling marketplaces, the chatter of merchants mingled with the laughter of children, each voice a note in the symphony of a nation reborn. Ships bobbed in harbors, their sails unfurling to catch the winds of commerce, eager to explore the riches of distant shores. Trade routes, once perilous, now beckoned with the allure of exotic goods and untold fortunes. In the halls of governance, debates raged with fervor and hope. The ink of the Constitution was barely dry, yet its principles were already being tested. Leaders, both seasoned and new, gathered to chart a course through the uncharted waters of democracy. Their discussions were filled with passion, their dreams anchored in the belief that liberty and justice could flourish on this vast continent. Each decision, each compromise, was a step toward defining what it meant to be a nation of the people, by the people, for the people. Communities, diverse and vibrant, took root in the rich soil of promise. From the bustling streets of Boston to the sunlit fields of Virginia, people from all walks of life contributed to the ever-evolving narrative. Artisans honed their crafts, scholars pondered the mysteries of the universe, and poets captured the essence of this new world in verse. The arts flourished, a reflection of the boundless creativity that freedom inspired. Yet, beneath the surface, challenges simmered. The question of unity loomed large, as states sought to balance their sovereignty with the needs of the collective. The scars of conflict were slow to heal, and the specter of division lingered. But even as tensions flared, the spirit of compromise prevailed, a testament to the enduring belief in a shared destiny. In the quiet corners of the countryside, families gathered around hearths, their conversations filled with dreams of a brighter future. Children listened with wide eyes as stories of bravery and sacrifice were recounted, their imaginations ignited by the tales of those who had dared to dream of independence. As stars twinkled in the vast expanse above, they drifted into slumber, their dreams woven with the hopes of a nation. The land itself seemed to breathe with the rhythm of renewal. Rivers flowed with a steady grace, their waters nourishing the land and the people who called it home. Forests whispered secrets of ancient times, their leaves rustling in harmony with the gentle breeze. The mountains stood as silent sentinels, their peaks kissed by the first light of dawn, a reminder of the enduring strength of the earth. As the seasons turned, the nation continued its journey, each day a step further into the promise of tomorrow. The legacy of those who had fought for freedom was etched into the very soul of the land, a guiding light for future generations. Their courage and vision served as a beacon, illuminating the path forward even in the darkest of times. In this land of opportunity, dreams took flight. Innovation and invention flourished as minds once bound by tradition dared to explore new horizons. The seeds of industry were sown, and the hum of progress began to echo across the landscape. Railroads stretched like veins across the continent, connecting distant corners and bringing people closer together. Through it all, the spirit of resilience endured. The journey was far from over, yet each step forward was a testament to the power of hope and determination. The nation, like a living tapestry, continued to weave its story, each thread a reflection of the countless individuals who had contributed to its creation. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the land, the promise of a new day lingered in the air, a gentle reminder that the journey was just beginning. As twilight settled over the burgeoning nation, the rhythm of life carried on, undeterred by the fading light. In the towns and cities that dotted the landscape, the flicker of gas lamps began to illuminate the streets, casting a warm glow that beckoned people to gather and share stories of their day. The air was filled with the soft murmur of conversations, punctuated by the occasional laughter that drifted through open windows. In these moments, communities found solace and strength in one another, their bonds growing ever tighter as they navigated the challenges and triumphs of a changing world. In the countryside, farmers tended to their fields, the rich earth yielding its bounty under the careful guidance of those who understood its rhythms. The cycle of planting and harvest was a dance as old as time, yet each season brought with it a sense of renewal and hope. As the last rays of sunlight kissed the horizon, families gathered around tables laden with the fruits of their labor, sharing meals that nourished both body and soul. The simple pleasures of life, often taken for granted, were cherished in these quiet moments, a reminder of the enduring connection between the land and its people. In the cities, the clatter of horse-drawn carriages echoed along cobblestone streets, a testament to the vibrant energy that pulsed through urban centers. The industrial age was in full swing, its influence visible in the towering smokestacks that reached toward the sky, symbols of progress and prosperity. Factories hummed with activity, their workers toiling tirelessly to produce the goods that fueled the nation's growth. Amidst the noise and bustle, there was a sense of purpose, a shared belief in the potential of the future. Education, too, was undergoing a transformation, as schools and universities expanded their reach, offering new opportunities to eager minds. The thirst for knowledge was insatiable, driving individuals to seek out new ideas and challenge the status quo. Libraries became sanctuaries of learning, their shelves lined with books that opened windows to worlds both real and imagined. In classrooms, teachers inspired their students to dream big, instilling in them the confidence to pursue paths once thought unattainable. As the night deepened, the stars emerged, twinkling like diamonds against the velvet sky. For those who paused to gaze upward, the vastness of the universe served as a humbling reminder of their place within it. Yet, even in the face of such enormity, there was a sense of belonging, a recognition that each individual was part of something greater. The constellations, familiar and constant, offered guidance and comfort, their presence a reassuring constant in an ever-changing world. In the quiet hours before dawn, as the nation slumbered, dreams took flight once more. The hopes and aspirations of countless individuals wove together, creating a tapestry of possibility that stretched across the land. Each dream, no matter how small, contributed to the larger narrative, a testament to the resilience and determination that defined the era. The promise of a new day lay just beyond the horizon, waiting to be embraced by those who dared to reach for it. As the first light of morning crept over the landscape, the world stirred to life once more. The cycle began anew, each moment an opportunity to build upon the foundations laid by those who had come before. The journey was far from over, yet with each step forward, the nation drew closer to realizing its potential. The spirit of innovation and exploration continued to thrive, fueled by the unwavering belief that anything was possible. In this land of opportunity, where dreams were nurtured and possibilities were endless, the future beckoned with open arms. The path ahead was uncertain, yet filled with promise, a testament to the enduring spirit of those who dared to dream. As the sun rose higher in the sky, casting its golden light across the land, the promise of a new day was realized. The journey continued, each step forward a reflection of the hope and determination that had brought the nation to this moment in time.